Greetings, my fellow freedom-loving sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitted from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Saturday, February 28th, 2026. This is episode 1940. Iranian Supreme Leader killed, and one step is a step too far. Before I proceed, you can follow me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Loki Luck number 3, Loki Luck Roman number 3 with 3 eyes, or the Loki Luck Roman number 3 podcast. Furthermore, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. You can contact me to ll3.podcast or proton.me if you're going to donate to paypal.me or cash.app. /Loki Luck number 3. Oh yeah, so everyone's talking about what's happening in Iran, the war and all that stuff. So of course you're gonna have all the faction slaves going in heat. Worst president ever. This and that. He's dumb. He's pathetic. We need to use the Constitution. There's even people in the elected servants in the federal government says all these things. And when it comes to their comrades or their teammate, it's exceptional. They don't even have the balls, in good faith, to declare war on a congressional power. But when the opposition does it, they all want to speak their minds. How comical is that? Very degrading indeed. Well, we all know, too, it's been planned out for a very long time, to the least. Post 9/11, when General Wesley Clark talked about the 7 nations they want to go to war with after that horrific event in 2001. And it's going on and on and on. Okay? It took a lot longer than what they think. And what really gets me is that each time you gotta have okay, just checking, my dog's chewing on something. Each time we check out a few things on what's going on, you guys still folks want to buy the official narrative. Doesn't matter what side of the factions you're on. And you got folks out there jump on the bandwagon, just talking smack as usual. Well, his predecessors done the same thing. Except for even the illegal war approval, which is still an unconstitutional perspective in Iraq. You got folks out there like James Kerry support the invasion of Iraq, and so did Joe Biden. That's okay, long they're Democrats, and vice versa. Come on, folks. Don't get me wrong, the whole mullah regime, there's a lot of totalitarian issues with them. I'm not saying they're angels either, because many people who are revolt, even artists and musicians that are in prison or had to go to exile, escape for what they put out, with musically and art and so forth, and they're being crucified, you can say, metaphorically speaking. All right, many of them are charged for blasphemy. Yes, not everyone in Iran are Muslims. Many of them are Christians, Jews. If I'm correct, the ancient religion is Zoharian. I can be mistaken, but I do remember reading about that many, many years ago. And folks, you need to know one thing too. Iran in Persian means land of the Aryans. That's right. Look it up. I read about this a long time ago. I just like to read on these things, just out of curiosity. So it did caught my attention. But the beautiful people over there, they're getting tired of it. And these movements have to be organic. Intervention is very dangerous. We can even look at the history of 1953, the CIA coup on Iran, when they got rid of Mohammad Mossadegh. Then they put the Shah in. And now there's a lot of questions is, who's going to replace Khamenei or that parliament, the mullah government? There's even reports that his son, the son of the Shah during that time, may be taking its place. And, of course, there's a lot of claims he's involved with Zionism. So, foreign powers and influences, you can say. You don't have to be an anti-Semitic to figure that one out. Only thing I can say right now, Kio Bono, who benefits? I want to put a link out on the Club of Rome, the map of the Club of Rome. And Iran's supposed to be the seventh kingdom in that institution. And as I remember, I was like looking at this pretty thoroughly. It happens same thing with Syria. But I will put that link on there on the scrib.com. And the seventh region, or the seventh kingdom, is the Middle East and North Africa. That's what happened. Same thing with what happened with Syria as well. When what's his name, Assad took over or left, and they brought in some clown who's involved with Al Qaeda or the Taliban. That Dinkleberry, which I'm not impressed with. And they were slaughtering Christians and Alawite Muslims as well. They're not the Sunnis or anything like that. They do their own thing. The Alawites, they're being treated like imbeciles too, or subhuman, you could say. And I digress. Those are the facts you have to really look into. And it's all for the global order, the one world order. They want this thing so bad because many people are waking up. Some folks, they say, it's a distraction with the Epstein files. It's possible. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. They have to see a lot bigger than the partisan politics. People need to pay attention. And don't get me wrong. It's occurring right in front of our eyes. And I commend it. But always keep the pressure going. Without us, they are nothing. And what they want to do is control us through technocracy, AI, artificial intelligence. Many people can use it to enhance it, but others will be enslaved. So always got to be aware of that. Great books to read, I recommend. Fahrenheit 451 and 1984. Animal Farm, too. George Orwell stuff. Fahrenheit 451 is a quick read. And I got to be honest, I enjoy that book really well. And I encourage people to start reading that. It's a good futuristic educational system. So I just got to get that off my chest. And another thing too, I just love all the social media geniuses out there on other avenues. It's just sometimes it gets real comical. And one thing I always use those particular tools is share information. I'm not saying I know everything. I put my comments in good faith. Some people laugh, but who cares? I'm not offended by that. We can talk about too, John Schaefer, by the way. He looks like he's planning to do another album, Sons of Liberty, and people mocked him. They all call him the insurrectionist. They don't even know what the hell that means. But I don't have to give you the definition. Just look it up yourself. Look at legal dictionaries, okay? Legaldictionary.com or .org. Look it up. It's just, these people don't have a damn clue. Because look, the truth of the matter is, J6 was an inside job, and it was been proven in court. Even the prosecutor attorney agreed. He was sternly pointing and yelling and been in the Capitol building for 10 minutes. So he wasn't there all day long. He just did his thing and left. I wasn't really crazy about the whole crashing the Capitol building. We all know it was a setup from the beginning. All these videos have been proven time and time again, but you still got Dinkleberries out there, the experts. Those always go for face value and get a hard on. But I can say this, John Schaefer took responsibility for his actions. And I support him doing the Sons of Liberty. I will buy the album too. I like his stuff. He's been doing it for a long time. At least he's consistent. He's not one of these posers out there that want to talk a lot of smack. They got all these bozos on parade tour. Tom Morello and Bruce Springsteen touring together. Ooh, where are your cowbells, folks? Move it now. Bam, 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 waka, waka, waka. Come on. This is so funny. Like I say, faction slaves. But when their man's in there, it's okay. So this is how hypocritical these idiots are. I know I'm ranting on this. It's just makes me laugh. The people around my age are still buying this hook, line, and sinker. Please. Enough of the what's that politics. There's bigger fish to fry. And do your homework, folks. Stop buying the hype and the hoopla from these pundits, these dinkleberries. Go read the information yourself. Even read the U.S. Constitution. We all have duties. Doesn't matter if you're red or blue. Those are for slaves. Be liberty-minded. Think as an American rather than a Laconian. Because one man can't do it all. Try to dictate to everybody. That's why it's talking about Lincolnianism, because Abraham Lincoln, a lot of things that Abraham Lincoln did was considered unconstitutional. But we have a memorial for him, right? And I'll just, I know I'm digressing here, so bear with me. But I had to get that off my chest. So I'm going to be reading this article that came from the warzone.com, I think it is. Yeah. Warzone.com. It was based out of the Brooklyn district of Miami. Interesting. Let's see what it says here. Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei killed in strikes. Trump declares death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as well as other senior Iranian officials add a new dimension to the rapidly evolving conflict. This is by Joseph Trevicik. Came out today. This is what it says here. U.S. President Donald Trump says that Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed. Khamenei was among a number of senior Iranian officials targeted in the initial wave of the U.S.-Israeli strikes earlier today. Could we have Bibi in the front line of battle and Ben Shapiro? See how tough these people are. And Laura Loomer, okay? Throw them all in there. Now continue on. Readers first can get caught up on the ongoing conflict in our previous rolling coverage, which is a link for that. Khamenei is one of the most evil people in history is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans. And those people from many countries throughout the world that have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs, Trump wrote in a post on his Truth social media network. He was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems, and working closely with Israel, there was not a thing he or other leaders that have been killed along with them could do. All right. This is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. We are hearing that many of their IRGC military and other security and police forces no longer want to fight, and they are looking for immunity from us, Trump added. As I said last night, now they can have immunity. Later, they can only get death. Hopefully, the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and working together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. Question mark. Question that, folks. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said earlier today that this morning in a powerful surprise strike, the compound of the tyrant Ali Khamenei was destroyed in the heart of Tehran. And there are many signs that this tyrant is no longer alive. But if I can do it, it's called patriotism. It's honor. Yeah. Remember what happened when Bibi locked down Israel and had the people got to take the COVID jab. Okay? So, that's what you got to look at, folks. Is that a great man? We should all kiss the floor he walks on? Hell no, not in my realm. I'll continue on. Trump's comments that Khamenei was unable to avoid intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking system is notable. Getting asked a lot why this kicked off midday and not at night. I don't know for certain, but everything points to moving up a timeline based on time-sensitive intelligence. Our own Tyler Rogoway highlighted earlier in the post on X limitations doing this for a large binational operation, but yeah, that's where I would place my bet. Exactly how will this impact course of the conflict and especially the future of Iran is unclear, but it sits now there is likely a gaping power vacuum in Iran. So that's just one area here of this claim. So me and my input, I am not really too thrilled about it, but I know many people believe, they got what they deserve. I'm not calling Khamenei and the Mullah government saints. Hell no. Now, that's what I said at the beginning. When it comes to government, folks, I'm not a person that falls in love with it. Okay, with the entity or institution, whatever you want to call it. It's a very evil, wicked institution, regardless of where you're at. That's why, with the U.S. Constitution, I always support smaller, federal, limited government, not this abundance what we have right now, and the central banking system, and have foreign powers and influences over our republican form of government, not a democracy. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. The big parties love to use that word, right? Democracy. Where in our U.S. Constitution says we're a democracy? And there's even reports that innocent people were killed. Of course, you have to expect that. And that's why, when it comes to stuff like this, I'm not too crazy about it. But that's what I always tell folks, it has to be organic. I know about the secular movement in Iran for like at least 25 years. Based on when I was like looking through some of the reports and videos and all that. Always observe responsibly. But one thing for sure, there's a lot of folks in that area or in exile want regime change. And I can't condemn them for that. But we always have to look at the bigger picture. Will Iran be a sovereign nation or be affiliated with the Club of Rome, the Seventh Kingdom, to be exact? Like what happened in Syria. Even people talk about the greater Israeli project, but the Club of Rome coincide with that measure. So, what can I say about it? I always say support the beautiful people in that nation. Always remain vigilant at their government. Regardless who's in there, don't trust them. If you don't learn from the past, you're damned to repeat it. Well, I'm going to do one more here, which it does relate to this episode. One Step is a Step Too Far by Mike Meharry. Came out today, 10thamendmentsayer.com. Thomas Jefferson warned that just one single step beyond the limits of the Constitution is one too many. That's because when the government crosses that line, it unlocks a virtually unlimited reservoir of power. To take a single step beyond the boundaries thus specially drawn around the powers of Congress is to take possession of a boundless field of power no longer susceptible of any definition. That's the danger of precedent. One thing leads to another. St. George Tucker explained exactly how it plays out. The most unauthorized acts of government may be drawn into precedents to justify other unwarrantable usurpations. We see this virtually every day as one politician after another justifies this or that government action by claiming so and so did it first. But Thomas Paine called this vile. He characterized a system where the government does things not because it's authorized, but because someone got away with it at first. One of the vilest systems that can be set up. Instead of using precedent as an excuse to do more, Paine argued that it should be taken as a warning. He said it should be shunned instead of imitated. But we usually get the opposite, where precedents are taken in the lump and put it at once for the Constitution and for law. Here's the 10th Amendment Center. Here at the 10th Amendment Center, we're committed to holding the line and opposing not only the first step, but every unconstitutional precedent. But we can't unravel decades of precedent without your help. So do your donations there. I'll continue on. John Dickinson also warned about precedent, observing that it usually starts with politicians who intentionally twist the meaning of the rules. All artful rules who strive to extend their power beyond it just limits, endeavor to give to their attempts as much semblance of legality as possible. Once they set a precedent, it starts the cycle of tyranny. Those who succeed them may venture to go a little further, for each new encroachment will be strengthened by a former. This set in motion a chain reaction with each new encroachment supported by precedent becoming yet another precedent that will become an example itself and thus support fresh usurpations. Dixon warned that this chain of precedent and usurpation also changes the attitudes of the people, making them more prone to accept new abuses of power. When an act injurious to freedom has been once done and the people bear it, the repetition of it is most likely to meet with submission. And submission is yet another dangerous precedent. As James Otis Jr. warned, so long as people will submit to arbitrary measures, so long will they find masters. What can we say about that, folks? It's true that we're seeing this again and again and again, regardless who's in there. Whether the president, Congress, judicial, don't matter. State, local, doesn't matter. It's the same cancerous, habitual offense. When are we going to start thinking as Americans instead of Laconians or Lincolnites? That's what I have to say, folks. And this is why I am pro 10th Amendment, pro U.S. Constitution, which is not perfect all the time, Declaration of Independence. We got a lot more power than what we think, than what they want you to think. Like I said before in the past, without us, they are nothing. They need us more, we need them. This is why I renounced the foreign powers and influences, that including the Israeli government. That's just one example. And do everything by the book. No exceptions. That's what the order wants. Us to submit for our own well-being. Have us suppress, dumb down, and go, yes, master, may I have another? What have you learned from September 11th? If you're still playing, no, go, woe me, give me sympathy, let the state take care of me, you haven't learned anything. I'm not saying it's out of arrogance, but on principle. This is why we got to question these things thoroughly. As like said before, Obama did it, Biden did it, people in Congress did it. Okay, with these bogus foreign aid and giving weapons away, and goes nowhere. It backfires on us. Like Jefferson said, commerce to all, foreign entanglements to none. In his first inaugural address. I recommend we need to go in that path. Say yes to a republic, no to the empire, and defy the global order. That's my intake on this episode. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast@protonline.me. If you want to donate, go to PayPal.me or Cash App @/3. If you want to support the War Zone, the 10th Amendment Center, that'd be great. Tell them LL3 sent you. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.